I gotta get your thoughts on the Hunter Biden stuff.
Yeah.
You were in the green room saying that the Baris stuff, it doesn't just tie back to Biden. It ties back to Obama. It ties back to all of them. And to me, Rich, that's why there's no way in hell Biden takes the risk on allowing his cokehead, whoremongering son to walk into a trial room in September and testify to all this IRS stuff that leads back and exposes all of them. What do you think?
Well, first of all, on the media, it's not bias. That's like corruption and co-conspirator stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so they're criminals along with the people who are doing this, because, you know, the Maggie Habermans, Sean pretending she didn't know the dossier was funded until the Washington Post, published that. The Washington Post got ahead of the New York Times. Everyone knew that Adam Schiff was Maggie Haberman's source. They gave each other Pulitzers for this stuff. They're co-conspirators. They're not biased. They're criminal too. And now, I mean, we're in the problem and the predicament we're in because they help them. Without their help, then, like you said, your father didn't know about any of this stuff unless he went to X or, the New York Post was removed from then Twitter at that time. And now they just print that headline as if the New York Post wasn't ostracized from the entire community. They didn't defend them. Do you remember that? And now we find out 51 intelligence officers say it's Russia propaganda. This has got to be criminal in this country, because if it's not, then they're just going to continue to do this. I mean, that is subversion and sedition. I don't know what else you can call it. I mean, well, at the time, President Trump was a sitting president. And it does go back to Obama. The only reason why we know that Michael Flynn was they went after him and then prosecuted under the Logan Act, using that as a runaround, which nobody is prosecuted with.
Right.
That is for the early republic, when it took 3 months to get across the pond, and you weren't posing as a diplomat, pretending to be somebody you weren't. I mean, nowadays you could just take a picture and say, hey, is that the guy? That's it. It wasn't like that back then. That was Joe Biden's idea. And thank you, Obama, for writing it down with in your own handwriting. What a great idea Joe had in order to help you cover up for all of this stuff. And that's what it was. I mean, that was all those investigations weren't criminal investigations. They were criminal cover-ups. They investigated people in order to cover up what they had done wrong. So when those people got in power, they would be bogged down with those investigations and discredited, instead of going after them for what they had done over that 8-year period, which was, again, downright criminal. And with the Hunter Biden stuff, I'll just say this, and I'm trying to get it out quick here. That's a sham trial. That is a sham case that they're bringing in order to give the appearance of fair justice in this country. It is not a legitimate. And first of all, I don't like that law anyway, Sean. I'm an absolutist when it comes to the Second Amendment. Being a drug addict should not disqualify you from having the right to defend yourself. Drug addiction is a disease. It's not his fault. You know what I mean? So, that's outrageous. I mean, there were founders who used to slip on opium every chance they got. They still wouldn't have taken away their musket because of it. Are you nuts? I mean, this is not, I don't agree with that. That being said, it was something. And you could hear the conversation between Joe and Hunter now. It was something to give the appearance that there is equal and fair justice in this country. Dad, I don't want to go to jail. Don't worry, son. You're not going to go to jail. You've caused me a lot of problems over the years, son, and I've always covered for you. Now you got to step up and do this for Dad. You got to step up and do this for the big guy. Don't worry. You'll have a nice windfall, a nice golden parachute at the end of this rainbow. You're not going to do any time. Did you hear juror number 10 on MSNBC? Outrageous. Everything sounded like he was reading from an outline, a scripted outline that was given to him. He hit every point. We didn't even think about the impact of this. We really were diligent and deliberate. I mean, Sean, it was like they brought in their Hollywood friends to create a show trial, complete with sidebar characters like juror number 10, to give everybody the appearance that this was like kosher dill, legitimate. It wasn't. This is garbage. He was tried in friendly territory, and he will not go to jail. I guarantee you he will not go to jail. Now, Trump was charged and tried and convicted behind enemy lines. It's two totally different things. And then also, whether I agree with the law or not, which I don't, finally, I'll say this, I don't agree with the law. At least it's a law. At least they could point to a statute that Hunter Biden broke. There is no law that they can point to for Donald Trump. They have to make it up and then instruct to the jury. Oh, by the way, that was another part of the script, how great and wonderful the jury instructions were from the judge. I mean, oh, she was so helpful. Oh, you got to watch this interview. It is the biggest load of crap. I paid like 8 minutes of it on the show, dissecting it earlier today. It was such a sham. But yeah, at least that's a statute, which I don't agree with. There are no statutes that you could point to and say Donald Trump broke these laws. They created all of these novel legal ideas nobody has ever been prosecuted on because they never would have been able to do it at the letter of the law.
Mike Lindell here, and like you, I see our country being destroyed daily. We face massive economic issues, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, there are people in power who threaten the values that have made our country great. Well, I've been a believer in gold and silver for a long time, and I've searched for years for a partner that shares my values. Well, Genesis Gold Group showed me how easy it is to protect your IRA, 401k, or your retirement with gold and silver. Their faith-driven approach to service and stewardship is one that stands out from the rest.
To get your free definitive gold guide and get started learning more about investing in gold and protecting your retirement from uncertain times, visit treasureandtrust.com now. Fill out the basic contact form and a member of the team will be in touch. Again, that's treasureandtrust.com or call 855-625-7760.